Most people think you need a full e-commerce store to start taking payments online, but that's just not true. In this video, I'll show you a simple way to start taking payments through your WordPress site.
So we're going to kick this off by quickly looking at a couple of examples of how to easily take payments through your WordPress site without using a bigger plugin like WooCommerce or something like that. So if you're a business that sells services to customers and maybe also wants to offer a couple of products as well, but doesn't want to get into the hassle of configuring a bigger plugin, this is a perfect solution for you. So in this demo, we're using a cleaning company website, and this cleaning company have decided that they want to start selling products to their customers, but they haven't got that many. So they're just going to create an ultimate home cleaning bundle. This is a product page that's been created just for that. And it's just a normal WordPress page with some images, text on, and also a purchase button. And this is what we want to look at right here, because this purchase button is created by the plugin that we're going to be using in this video today. And that plugin is WP Simple Pay, which makes taking payments super fast and easy through your website. So if we just click on this purchase button, we now get a pop-up with a payment form in it. So this is the great thing about WP Simple Pay. You're creating payment forms rather than having a checkout process for your customers. This is great for services and products that you're selling on your site. And if we quickly just look at this form, the customer can enter their name, email, and also address as well. If you're selling reoccurring services and products, maybe on subscription or something like that, you can add that option to a form as well. And the customer can check the box right here and make this purchase a reoccurring amount purchase. So the card details they enter here will then be charged a reoccurring amount based on what you set up for the form, which is fantastic. It makes it a super easy process. I'm just going to close this. I'm just going to show you another example really quickly. So in this example right here, we have a payment form on a payment page. And this page is something that is created within WP Simple Pay, but with the click of a button. So you don't have to go and create pages in WordPress to start adding forms to your site. Everything can be taken care of in WP Simple Pay. And on this form right here, the thing I want to show you really quickly, as it's based around a service, you can add multiple price options to forms. So this has got a weekly cleaning service, a bi-weekly cleaning service, a monthly cleaning service, and then also it's got a one-off payment option as well. So you can mix them within one form. So if you just want to have one form on the site with all your services on, then you can definitely do that. And each one of these service levels at the top here, they are reoccurring payments. So that customer is going to be charged every week, every 2 weeks, or a month, depending on the option that they choose. And if they choose an option, if you scroll down as well, you can see that the payment button at the bottom shows how much they're going to be paying through this form. So there's no confusion there about which option they've selected either, which is fantastic. Okay, let's look at how we can create these forms. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is add WP Simple Pay to our site. And you can do that in two ways. If you want to just test out WP Simple Pay without some of the features that I showed you in the previous clip, then you can add WP Simple Pay through your WordPress site for free using the light version. So you just go to plugins, add new, and search for WP Simple Pay in the plugin repository through your WordPress site. But in this video, because I'm going to show you some of the features that I think are really handy and make this a really fantastic method for those companies that want to sell their services and a few products through their website, we'll need to download WP Simple Pay through WP Simple Pay's website. You can find a link for that in the description below, and it's up on screen right now. But once you come to the website, all you need to do is click on the Get WP Simple Pay Now button. And that's going to bring you to the pricing page on WP Simple Pay. And this is going to give you a few price options depending on what kind of payment forms you need on your site and what features you need in those forms. The personal payment option is a fantastic one to get started with. You can use it on one site, unlimited payment forms, unlimited transactions, and the features that are included in it are listed below that as well. And the payment methods that you get through this form on the personal plan are credit cards, Apple Pay, Google Pay, US banks, and 10 other payment methods. So that's a fantastic option if you want to just start taking payments through your site. If you want the reoccurring payments feature and things like that, then I definitely recommend getting the plus pricing option here, because it's going to give you subscriptions as part of that plan. And then if you're looking for more payment methods, such as things like Klarna, Afterpay, Affirm, Cash App, and stuff like that, then go for the professional plan. So just choose the plan that suits your needs and then click the Get Started button. And that'll take you through the process of paying for that plan. Once you've done that, log in to your account. Once you log in, it's going to look very much like this. All you need to do now is download WP Simple Pay, which we're going to upload to our website, and copy the license key for that product. So just head to the Downloads tab, click on that. To download the product, just click on Download WP Simple Pay, and that'll be downloaded to your computer. After you've done that, click the little clipboard icon next to the license key to copy that to your clipboard. And then head to your WordPress site and log in to your WordPress dashboard. Now that we've logged into our site, we're going to add WP Simple Pay to this site. So we're going to install it and activate it. To do that, just head over to Plugins, hover over Plugins and click on Add New. Then click on the Upload Plugin button. And then click on the Choose File button and choose the plugin file you just downloaded from your computer. Once you've done that, click the Install Now button and then click the Activate button. You should now see this page, which is the WP Simple Pay Setup Wizard. And this is going to take us through a few steps to get WP Simple Pay set up as quickly as possible. So first, just click the Let's Get Started button. And the first thing we need to do is enter the license key that we just copied from our account. So you just paste that into the field here and then click on the Activate and Continue button. So WP Simple Pay is powered by Stripe. So the next thing to do is to connect to Stripe. And don't worry if you don't have a Stripe account, you can set up an account through this process as well. So all we need to do is click on the Connect with Stripe button, and that's going to bring us to this Get Started with Stripe page. What we want to do when we're adding payment forms to our site for the first time is actually do it in test mode. And you can see that highlighted up here. We're currently in test mode. So what that means is that we're going to connect to Stripe, but we're not going to be able to take any payments through our forms. So we can create all our payment forms and test them fully without any payments taking place. This is fantastic for just setting it up and getting things working before you send everything live. And I'll show you how to send it live later in this video as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to skip this form as it says here because we're currently in test mode. Okay, so the next step in the setup process is to configure emails. So if you want to send payment receipts to customers, just make sure that payment receipts is enabled. If you want payment notifications to go to an email address, maybe of a team member or of yourself, then make sure that payment notifications is enabled as well, and that you put in the email address you want those to go to once a payment has been made on the site. If you want the option to be able to send invoice receipts to customers as well, then you can do that by enabling this option. And if you want customers to be reminded of upcoming invoices, then just enable the upcoming invoice option. They are all enabled by default, but you can disable the ones that you don't want as well by clicking on these switches. Okay, so I'm happy with that as it is. So I'm just going to click on Save and Continue. And that's it. We've set up WP Simple Pay. And from this screen, we can go ahead and create a payment form straight away. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to return to the dashboard and show you a couple of settings that you can configure before you start creating your forms. So we're just going to click the Return to Dashboard option here. And that's now brought us to the WP Simple Pay settings, which is exactly where we want to be. So under the general settings here, you can see we're on the license tab. But if we head to the currency tab, then on this page right here, we can see that we can change the default currency for our site. So if you want to choose something different, just click on the drop down for the default currency and choose any of the currencies available in this list. You can also change the currency position if you want as well, and use a separator, and then click on Save Changes to save any of the changes that you've made to this page. You can also set up taxes for these forms as well. To do that, click on the Taxes tab, and with WP Simple Pay, you can set up global tax rates. So if you know the tax rate you should be applying to any of the purchases on your site, then enable this option by checking the Enable box, and then that will then reveal the tax rate section below that. And to add a tax rate, it's super simple. Just click the Add Rate button, and within this pop-up right now, you can set up that tax rate. So if it's a sales tax, you can keep it as that, but if it's another different type of tax, you can certainly change that by typing it into this field here. Then add the rate. So for example, I'll add a 20% rate, and below that, you can choose to whether the price you set on a payment form is exclusive or inclusive of tax. If it's exclusive of tax, just leave it as it is. If you want to change it to inclusive, just click the drop down and choose inclusive. To add the tax rate, just click the Add Tax Rate button. And there you go. We can see that we've added a tax rate to WP Simple Pay. Don't forget to click Save Changes to save any of the tax rates you've added to this page. And I just want to highlight this, as we're working with payment forms on the site, there is an anti-spam option. So if you just click on that tab, I'll show you what it is. We're not going to get too much into this because you can set these up on your own and follow WP Simple Pay's documentation for this. But there is options to make your forms a lot more secure by using things like Capture, Cloudflare, and things like that as well. Once a payment has been made through a form, the customer is then going to see a payment confirmation. To configure payment confirmations, just click on the Payment Confirmations tab up here. Now you get the option to configure where the customer is sent after they make a payment through the form. So as you can see on the pages, the payment success page has the payment confirmation option. You can create a separate page if you wanted to and select that by clicking the drop down and then selecting that page. So with this, you'll see that WP Simple Pay has actually created pages on your site as well once you activated it. We've got a payment confirmation and a payment failed page. You can edit those pages as well. We won't do that in this video, but it's something I just wanted to mention so that you know where things are. Additionally, you can also configure the emails that get sent out to customers and the notification email that your team get once a payment has been made on the site. To do that, just click on the emails tab up here. And this is where you can configure all the email settings from. So you can configure the general email settings. So you can type in the from name that you want to send emails from, the from address that you want to use to send emails from. And this will also be the reply to address the customers will reply to as well. You can also choose the template of the email. So whether it's styled or just a plain HTML email. And if we scroll down a little bit, you can also choose the header image for the email by clicking on the choose a header image button and then choosing that from your media library. So for this example, I might choose the logo as a header image and click the use image button to add that. And if you want to add something to the bottom of all emails, then you can type that in to the footer field right here, and that'll be displayed on the bottom of all your emails. Once you've made all the changes you want on this page, just click Save Changes. That's configuring the general settings for emails. But what if you want to configure specific emails that are being sent from your website? Well, you can do that by clicking on the drop down here and then selecting any of the emails from the list. So I'll just choose the payment notification email and then click on the configure button. So as I said, the payment notification email is something that gets sent to either yourself or a team member to let you know that you've received a payment through your website. So the send to email we actually configured in the setup wizard. But if you want to change the subject of an email, you can do that by typing it into the subject field right here. And then below that, you can see the message that is contained in the email. And this can be completely edited into anything that you want. So you can add images, you can add headings, paragraphs, links, anything you need. And also you get the option of adding smart tags to any email as well. And a smart tag, if I just scroll down, is information that is pulled from the form when the customer fills it out. So you've got things like the form's title, the form description, the customer name, the subtotal amount, the payment type, the receipt, and much, much more. And this is just an easy way of adding specific details about that particular purchase to an email. So you can totally change any of the information for any of the emails WP Simple Pay sends out. Don't forget, if you do make changes to anything, make sure you click the Save Changes button to save those changes. Okay, so we've been through a bit of the settings just so that you know where things are and that you can set up things like payment confirmations, set up your emails and things like that as well. But let's get into the good stuff now. Let's add a payment form to the website. So to do that, all you need to do is click on Add New Payment Form in the menu on the left. And that's going to bring you to this page right here. So the fantastic thing about WP Simple Pay is it comes with a whole load of pre-made templates to help you get set up as quickly as possible. So you've got things like payment button, donate button, animal recovery donation form, Apple Pay, Google Pay payment form. So it's more than likely that the payment form you actually need might already have a pre-made template in the template library. So we're going to be creating the product payment form that we saw earlier at the start of this video. And to do that, I'm going to use the payment form template. To use any template, all you need to do is hover over it and click use template. And now we're in the payment form editor. And the first thing to do is to give our payment form a name. And as this is for cleaning products, I'm just going to call it cleaning products. So I'm going to type that into the title field right here. And it's a good idea to give your payment form a description as well, so that if you start making lots of different payment forms on your website, you know what this payment form is intended to do and what it's for as well. I'm just going to do that right now by typing it into the description field. And then below that, you get to choose what type of payment form you want this to be. So if we click on the drop down, I'll show you the options. We've got an on-site payment form or an off-site Stripe checkout form. An off-site Stripe checkout form is basically going to take the customer away from your site and do the checkout using Stripe. An on-site payment form is what I showed you in the example, a form that's completed by the customer on your site. For this example, I'm going to use the on-site payment form option. So I'll just click on that. And then below that, there's an option to have this form open in an overlay model. And if you remember the first form that I showed you, there was just a button on the page and the form opened up in a pop-up. Well, this is how you enable that. Otherwise, you'll just have a payment form on the page. So for this example, I'm going to enable this option by checking that box. Below that, you can choose to set up your spam and fraud protection options. Like I said, you can configure these how you see fit. I'm not going to configure them in this video. Instead, we're going to click on the payment option here. And this is where we set up payments for the form. So the first thing you can see up here is payment mode. And it's currently set to global setting, which is in test mode. Because we connected to Stripe in test mode, this is what is inherited. If at some point you have live payment forms active on your site and you want to add additional payment forms, there is a fantastic option here where you can connect to Stripe in both payment modes globally and then select which form is in test mode and live mode. That allows you to test new forms without having to take payments through them and without disabling your live forms as well. Below that, you can select whether this form is going to collect tax. If you set up a tax rate like we did in the settings a little earlier, then you can choose that tax rate by clicking on the drop down and then selecting fixed tax rates. I'm not going to collect tax in this form in this example, so I'll just click on none. Then below that, I'm going to scroll down. And the next thing we're going to look at is our price options. So on this payment form, we have one price option and the default price is set at $10 US. If you want to change the price, all you need to do is click in the field right here and then type in the price. So I'll type in 39 for the product bundle that we're creating right now. Next to that, you get the option to choose whether it's a one-time or subscription purchase. So if you click on the subscription option, we can see that this automatically activates a reoccurring subscription is checked. And then if we click on configure next to that, we get a pop-up with the options to change the reoccurring payment settings. So here we can change the billing period and then have an installment plan, offer a free trial, and also a setup fee if we charge that as well. I'm going to close this and I'm just going to click on one time because the form we're setting up is just with a one-time price option. Although I do want to allow the price to be optionally purchased as a subscription, like I showed you in the demo. And to do that, all you need to do is check the allow price to be optionally purchased as a subscription checkbox, and then configure that as you want. So we set it up for 1 month. We don't need an installment plan. It's going to carry on until the customer cancels, and we won't offer a free trial or a setup fee in this example. And then to save that, you just click update. And then right below that, we get the option to choose the payment methods we're going to accept through this payment form. And if I just click on the drop down here next to payment methods, show you all the payment methods available, there are quite a lot of them. So we've got things like card payment, which we definitely would want to add to this form. We've got things like Bax payments, Cash App, Alipay, Klarna, ClearPay, things like that as well. So you've got lots of payment methods available within WP Simple Pay and through a payment form. I'm just going to keep it as a card payment for now, and then scroll up. So now we've set up our price option and allowed it to be purchased as a subscription. We can now take a look at the form fields that are going to be on the form. To do that, just click on the form fields option here. And here we can see the fields that are going to be on the form. So we've got the email address, payment methods, and checkout button. Now, as you might remember, this is a product that we're going to be selling. So I also want to add a couple of additional fields to this form. The first thing I want to do is add a name field. To do that, I'm going to click on the drop down here and choose the name option from the list, and then click on add field. Additionally, I want to add a billing address as well. So I'm just going to click on the drop down again and click on the address option and click on the add field to add that to the form as well. Okay, so we've got all those fields, and some of these I want in a different order. So to rearrange the fields, all you need to do is hover the cursor to the left of the field label, click and drag that into place. And I'll do the same for the email address and just drag that into place. If you want to see the individual settings for each field, you can do that by clicking on to the right of the label, and then you get the options to change any of the settings for that field. So for this, I'll change the label to full name by typing it into this field. And as I want people to add their full name in, I'm going to choose this field as required by ticking this box down here, which means that people have to fill out this field to be able to submit the form. You can close any field by clicking on the toggle there. You can look at the settings for email address and address as well, which can be changed to billing or shipping, depending on what you need. In the payment methods option, click the drop down, you can change the label. If you want to remove any of the fields, you can just click the remove option right here, and that will remove that field. For the checkout button, the options you get right here, you can change what it says on the checkout button. So at the moment, the complete payment text is pay in an amount, as we saw in the demonstration. And then below that are the default text on buttons for start a trial, buy now, pay later, and things like that. Now, if you're selling products on your website and you have a certain amount of those available, then you might want to add restrictions to your payment form. And to do that, click on the Purchase Restrictions tab. And now you'll see that you have two options. You have inventory and schedule. The inventory option allows you to hide the payment form after a number of payments have been made. So if you've got only 30 of something in stock, then you can tick the box right here and then add the number of items you have in stock to this field. So for this example, I'll type 30. The schedule side of things allows you to show and hide the payment form on specific dates. So if you've got a sale or a marketing campaign that you're putting together and you want to launch a form on a certain date and then hide it on a certain date, you can do that by clicking on box and choosing the date and time you want that form to either show or hide, which I think is a really fantastic option and a way of automating forms to show and hide on specific dates. The payment page are something that we're going to cover in the next form. So we're going to move on to the confirmation page settings for this form. And here we get the option to choose what confirmation the customer sees. At the moment, the default setting is a dedicated confirmation page. We saw that earlier in the settings. We can also choose the global settings, but if you've designed a specific custom success page for a product or service, you can choose that option by clicking on that and then selecting the page from the drop down here. Additionally, you can also send customers to an external URL and you can type that into the field there as well. I'm going to keep it as a dedicated confirmation page. So as we've selected dedicated confirmation page, we now want to add the payment success message for this product that's going to be displayed on the page. Just type that into the field here. Below that, you can choose the color scheme for the page. So you can choose any of the preset colors, or if you want to choose your own color or style it to something to do with your branding, you can click on the color picker right here and then choose any color clicking in the box right here and moving the cursor around. I'll keep it as the blue color scheme. Below that, if you don't want to show the form title and description on the page, you can uncheck this box right here. If we scroll down just a little bit, you can choose the header image or logo for the page by clicking on the choose image button here, and then choosing the logo from the library like I'm doing right now, and then clicking on use image. And if you want to add footer text to the page, you can do that by clicking in the footer text field and typing it in. Once you are happy with those settings, you can move on to email notifications. And you may remember I showed you in the settings how you can customize the default email notifications that are sent out by WSimplePay. If you want to create custom email notifications for specific products or services, you can do that by typing in a custom email message to send to the customer, or a custom payment notification to send to yourself or your team. Once you're happy with how you've set up your payment form, click on Save Draft in the top right. And once you've saved your form, you can preview it by clicking on the preview button. And that's going to bring you to this preview page right here. If you click on the Pay with Card button right here, you'll see the form that you've just created in WPSimplePay in the pop-up. I'm going to close this form right here, and I'm going to go back to Form Editor. And if you're ready to publish your form, all you need to do is click on the Publish button, and your form's now ready to use on your site. So, okay, how do we add this payment form to our page? Well, first, navigate to the page that you want. So I'm going to click on Pages here in the left, and I'd already set up the cleaning products page, so I'm just going to click on that to enter the block editor. Okay, so to add the form to this page, all we need to do is navigate to the area we want add the form to, or the payment button to. Hover over that area, and I'm just going to hit return to open up another block here. I'm going to type / and I'm going to put WP Simple Pay. I'm going to choose this WP Simple Pay payment form block. And you can see that's added the WP Simple Pay payment form block right there. And then to select your payment form, just click on the drop down and then choose the payment form that you've created. And then you can see it's added that payment button right there. And like I said before, you can change the wording and the style slightly within the settings to make sure this button looks right and it fits with your website. But once you've added it to your page and it's where you need it to be, just click on the Save button up here. And then if we preview the page by clicking on the preview button, the preview icon, and then preview in a new tab, we can see that that payment button is in place. And if we click on the payment button, it opens up the payment form. Fantastic. Okay, so now we've done that, let's quickly create the second form that we saw, which is the services form in WPSimplePay. So to do that, we're just going to head back to the dashboard by clicking on the dashboard icon up here, then hover over WPSimplePay and then click on Add New Payment Form. And now, as I know I want to set up a cleaning service payment form, I'm going to search for cleaning in the search bar right here to see if there's a template for it. And we can see there are several templates available for cleaning. And just because the template's been set up in a specific way doesn't mean it can't apply to different services as well. So in this example, we're going to be using the cleaning service payment form. So to do that, we're going to hover over it and click on Use Template. And then I'm just going to change the title to Cleaning Service Payments. And then below that, add a description. Below that, I'm going to keep the type of form this is to an on-site payment form. And then we're going to move to the payment settings by clicking on Payment on the left. Now, we covered a lot of these options in the previous example we set up. So I'm just going to scroll down and focus on the price options right here. So we can see we've got multiple price options, which we saw in the demo at the start of this video. And you can view the settings for each price option by clicking on that price option. You then get the option to change the label and the amount for that price option as well. We can also see that this is set up as a subscription. And if we click on Configure here, we can see the recurring settings for this price option. For this example, it's going to bill every week for this service. I'm going to close this pop-up. So you can close the price option by clicking on it as well. And then you can open up the other ones and just check the prices or change the labels to whatever you need. So those are the 3 reoccurring services. But what if we want to add a one-off payment as part of the price options as well? Well, you can do that by clicking on the add price button right here. As you can see, it's just dropped in this price option. We're going to click on that and I'm going to give it a label. So I'm adding the deep cleaning service to this and I want to change the amount to $150. So I'm going to click in there and type that. I'm going to make sure it's a one-time price option and then close it once you're happy with that. I'm going to leave the payment methods as they are. I'm going to scroll up and we're going to head to the form fields. And it's a little bit different to the payment form we saw a bit earlier. It already has the full name, email address, phone number, service level and payment methods on this form. A couple of things I want to show you here is if you click on the phone number form field, you can see that you have smartphone number validation. So if you know where a lot of your customers are coming from, then you can choose the default country that will make sure that the numbers that are entered into the form are only for that country. You can close this, and then the service level form field is a price selector field, and you can choose to display that in either basic, drop down, list or button style. So it's currently in a list style. I quite liked it as a list, but you can choose different options if you wish as well. Okay, and you can add more form fields if you need to this form. I'm going to leave it as it is. We're now going to move to the payment page, which is something we saw in the demo. So we're just going to choose that option. And to enable this option, you just got to check the box. And now you get these settings right here. And the settings below are very much what we saw on the confirmation page when we set that up. So we're going to focus on the permalink right here. And what that means is that we can choose what the URL is going to be for this payment page. And you get a little note right here just to say it must be unique. Well, if you're not going to have very many payment pages, you might just call this payment, which I'm going to do. And you can enter that into the field there. So now this payment page will be available at yourwebsite.com/payments, basically. Once you've chosen your permalink, then you can choose your color scheme and everything that we saw earlier in the video. And you can also configure things like your confirmation page, email notifications as well. But as I'm happy with this form right now, I'm going to click Save Draft up here in the right. And before you can view this page, you need to publish it. So we're just going to click on the Publish button. And then to view the page, the best way to do that is just copy the URL by clicking this button here or by clicking this option right here. And then open up a new tab and paste in that URL. And just like that, we've got our payment form on our payment page. Okay, so now you've got payment forms on your site. The next step is to switch Stripe from test mode to live mode. And to do that, all we need to do is head over to WP Simple Pay right here, hover over that, and then click on Settings. Now we're in the settings, we're just going to click on the Stripe tab, and we can see that our Stripe account is connected in test mode. All we need to do to switch this into live mode is to click on the toggle for live mode, which we get a little notification to let us know that will be required to reconnect to Stripe when we save these settings. So we're just going to click on Save Changes right now. And then to connect to Stripe, just click on the Connect with Stripe button. And now we're on the Get Started with Stripe page. All we need to do is type in the email address that's associated with the Stripe account we already have, or one that we want to set up. So just type it in this field here, and then go through verifying the connection with your Stripe account. And once you've done that, you'll see the account that you've connected to, and that below that, you'll see the Stripe account is connected in live mode. So now you can start taking payments through your WordPress site using the payment forms you set up in WP Simple Pay.
Okay, now you've got your payment form set up, awesome. But here's the thing, most people stop here, and that's why they leave money on the table. If you want to maximize this setup, you need to start building an email list. Why? Because an email list is not just a list, it's an asset that helps you turn one-time buyers into repeat customers. Here's the easy win. Connect your payment form to an email marketing tool, and then set up an automated email that thanks your customers and offers them something extra, like an exclusive discount or free resource. It takes minutes to do, but that small step can have a massive impact on your sales. So let's show you how to do it right.